Well, I'll tell you what, and this is no knock on them over there. I believe it's going to be a little bit easier this time. For the simple fact he already got his number. It's hard to get away from when somebody already done beat your ass.
Firstly, Jamie, obviously, just a couple of, you might, just going to say 30 seconds about Ricky Hatton.
No, there's no 30
Chris, 1 second.
You know the drill.
Chris.
You know the drill. I'm not going to say
you are some arsehole, you are.
Anything you say.
Okay, then don't listen to anything.
I'm a bad guy.
No.
I'm in this.
All I was going to do was say a few words about Ricky Hatton.
Okay.
Okay, I won't say anything about.
Move on with the press conference.
You're an arsehole. You talk shit.
You know, honestly, this guy has zero respect for anything, and I hope people can see through it. Some will, some won't. But if you can't see them, I mean, that's a lot of what happened up there was just wrong. So listen, we go to work and we're in to win the fight. It's going to be different this time.
Chris Eubank Jr. Quote, S-Trainer, Brian BoMac, McIntyre. Didn't just watch Conor Benn's latest press conference, he studied it. His calm expression said it all. Pure confidence. BoMac isn't the type to play psychological games. His presence alone reminds everyone that mental scars don't heal easily. Eubank Jr. already owns the edge, the psychological grip that defines elite fighters. Conor Benn can talk with all the fire in the world, but deep down he knows who has controlled every mental exchange since their first clash. BoMac, the same mastermind who guided Terrence Bud Crawford to pound-for-pound greatness, now channels that same aura into Chris Eubank Jr. when a trainer of BoMac's...
Do you see him taking a world title shot, and do you see him being a world champion? I know the stock answer is going to be yeah, but I'm trying to look into your eyes and get a real answer.
You know, I told him the other day, maybe it was yesterday or the day before, I said, man, once you get past this fight and you dominate this fight, they can't deny you fighting for a world title, you know. At 160, I believe he can be a world champion.
At 160?
At 160, I believe he can be a world champion.
Yeah.
Caliber says his fighter is destined to become a world champion. Those words carry weight. His confidence in Eubank doesn't come from hype, it comes from observation. BoMac sees greatness unfolding, and that belief sends shockwaves across the boxing world. But across the ring stands Tony Sims, Conor Benn's loyal trainer, armed with belief and passion. Sims fired back during interviews, insisting his fighter is ready to rewrite the story.
So I think he'll get a lot more people wanting to tune into that fight, and obviously we're going to win the next fight, and but yeah, looking forward to it. Looking forward to getting Conor Benn ready to fight, and it's going to be historic.
Yet his optimism feels more like defiance than dominance. There's energy, but not conviction. Compared to BoMac's quiet authority, Sims sounds uncertain, his tone rehearsed rather than assured. The difference between the two corners is striking. One side...
People, they are pretending. They're pretending to be the good guys. Wolves in sheep's clothing, if you will. They will do anything they can. They will screw over anybody they can. They will cut any corners. They will break any rules they can to try and get ahead. Ruthless, immoral, and without...
believes they're already ahead. The other side hopes they can catch up. And Eubank Jr., he isn't hiding behind polite diplomacy. He's brutally honest, unfiltered, and unapologetic. His words aren't trash talk. They're declarations from a man who's seen too much to care about...
What does it do to Conor Benn's career trajectory if he does lose again?
Look, I mean, you never want back-to-back defeats. Obviously, we know the future is at 147. We've got Lewis Crocker here. You know, there's a shot at the world title. But losing is a disaster for Conor. Yeah, I can dress it up to you and say, it's up at middleweight, it doesn't really matter, now we go, but that's not what Conor Benn's about. You see a different Conor Benn in there today, because all he's focused on is the performance and the fight.
Playing nice. I know what I'm walking into, Eubank once said, but I've been here before, and I know how to walk out victorious. That's vintage Eubank, calm, sharp, and unwavering. Even Eddie Hearn, usually the voice of balance, didn't sugarcoat the stakes. He admitted outright that a loss for Conor Benn would be catastrophic. That's not just promotional talk, that's pressure.
I will dismantle him. I will ruin him. he gets absolutely destroyed. Destroyed. There's no comeback. There will be no comeback after he fights me. When I beat him, I'll put him into an early retirement. Or put him into retirement.
The kind that eats fighters from within. For Eubank, this fight is about legacy. For Benn, it's survival. And when a promoter uses words like disaster or career-defining, it tells you where the nerves truly lie. When Benn tried to reclaim control during the press conference, his words came out sharp, fiery, but hollow. His threats carried venom, not conviction. It was the sound of a man trying to convince himself more than his opponent. Passion without composure is dangerous in boxing. Bold words mean little when standing across from experience forged in chaos. Eubank's been here before, facing louder fighters.
Chris is one of those guys that he hasn't really got time for boxing folk. He steps in, does his business, makes his money, and steps out. He doesn't care what carnage is left behind. The things he said and the accusations he laid out, I think are a bit...
Bigger punchers and heavier pressure. He's weathered storms more violent than Benn's words, and that's what makes him lethal. As Johnny Nelson observed, Eubank now appears detached, but that detachment is his weapon. It's not arrogance, it's tunnel vision. He's no longer trying to please the crowd or the critics. He's here to execute, not entertain. That cold focus Nelson describes is what separates champions from contenders. When the crowd roars and chaos unfolds, Eubank finds calm. He doesn't fight for applause. He fights for dominance. Nelson may call his confidence far-fetched.
He ain't coming back down to 160, so it's got a very short lifespan, this rematch. It's got to be done. The sooner the better. If I'm being brutally honest, the sooner the rematch happens, in my opinion, it favours Conor Benn, because he's the younger fighter who's took less damage and has had a much lesser career with much less experience. For someone like Chris Eubank Jr, it's going to take a while to turn around, and it's going to take a while to recover, because that was a hard fight for him. He was shook a number of times. He felt the shots. He'd also done
But Eubank's history proves otherwise. The indifference others read as ego is actually the stillness of a man who survived fire and come out colder. That's not attitude, it's evolution. Tony Bellew, never short on opinions, believes youth favors Conor Benn, but he underestimates the power of discipline. Eubank may be older, but he's a fighter who lives the sport. His conditioning, nutrition, and mental preparation are relentless. Age doesn't slow men like Eubank, it sharpens them. Every setback has refined his approach. Every tough night has...
And I don't think at this stage Eubank can do a lot more else. You know, he'll try and do what he did, you know, on fight night. It's whether he can go to the well again. I don't think so. If the fight becomes as hard and if it's as the pace and ferocity of a first fight, I'd be very surprised and I'd be amazed if Eubank can do.
Added a new layer to his armor. The recovery Bellew refers to isn't a setback, it's a blueprint. Fighters like Eubank don't depend on momentum. They depend on method. He studies, adapts, and evolves with surgical precision. Benn might have youth, but Eubank has maturity, and in boxing, control always beats chaos. Dave Coldwell, however, remains skeptical. He questions whether Eubank can dig that deep again, whether he can go back to the emotional and physical well one more time. But Eubank was built in that well. He's drawn strength from pain his entire career. Every setback has only hardened his resolve. After the Liam Smith defeat, many wrote...
He's got that crossover appeal, you know. He does. Sometimes I don't know why, but he's a fascinating guy, and I respected him because he was like, we used to bring him in for sparring, and he was smaller than me, middleweight at the time, but he could hold his own. He'll come and he'll swing away, but everything was a performance almost. So you come in, hey Chris, he wouldn't look at you. Be in the mirror doing his Vaseline. You okay? Do you need anything, Chris? Do you want some water? No. Okay. Finish the spar, and if he had a good spar, he might let out
him off. Then he returned with a master class in composure and execution. That's the difference. Eubank doesn't crumble, he rebuilds. The mental toughness Coldwell doubts is exactly what defines him. Pressure doesn't drain Eubank Jr., it fuels him. And if the rematch turns into a dogfight, that's exactly where he thrives. George Groves, who once shared the ring with him, paints an unforgettable picture of Eubank's nature. He's not just a fighter. Groves said, he's a performer. Every move...
As I don't believe in weight reducing of any form or kind, I don't believe in it. They're fighters, they need that strength, they need the power, they need the sharpness. That all goes if you weight train. No, that is dangerous. But if if he can make the weight, he says he'll do it, he'll do it better this time than he did last time, and he can do it. And they're getting paid so much money, you can't blame them for risking things and
move. Every stare, every second has purpose. Groves recalls moments backstage, Eubank staring into the mirror, locked in, rehearsing perfection. Against bigger men, he never folded. That obsession with control defines his mindset. Groves doesn't describe arrogance. He describes intensity, a kind that borders on obsession. Eubank lives the sport. He's the type who never switches off. Every day is preparation. Fighters can talk all they want, but Eubank shows up with intent. Groves witnessed it firsthand. The professionalism, the ritual, the unrelenting discipline. That's what separates Eubank from the rest. You can't fake obsession. You can't fake preparation. Ronnie Davies, who's been with Eubank since the early days, speaks with quiet certainty. When he predicts a stoppage inside 8 rounds, it's not bravado. It's insight. He's seen the focus, the execution, the razor-sharp timing behind...
Chris Eubank will have turned 36. Yes, Conor Benn will be 29. But it's a fight that we have to see again. And I'm very glad that His Excellency, that Ring Magazine, that everybody that needed to get it done have got it done. The guys will be earning huge money, and we will be hugely entertained.
The curtain. Davies knows Eubank's pressure, discipline, and accuracy better than anyone. The talk about weight and power means nothing when the execution is perfect. Davies' faith is not built on hype. It's built on decades of watching Eubank overcome, adapt, and rise. When veterans like Davies speak with calm conviction, it's not prediction, it's a warning. Adam Smith summed it up best. This isn't just a rematch. It's British boxing theater at its finest. 2 bloodlines, 2 legacies, 2 generations colliding under bright lights. Yes, Eubank Jr. will be 36, but in boxing, age only matters when discipline fades. And Eubank's discipline has never been sharper. He's evolved from a talented contender into a composed tactician. He knows how to manage distance, control rhythm, and dismantle opponents piece by piece. Across from him stands Conor Benn, 29 years old, brash, fiery, and desperate to carve his name among the elite. That hunger makes him dangerous.
This would sell out any stadium in the UK. I was going to see it in the world there, but probably not in America because that many people wouldn't fly over. It would sell out a lot. But the fight location still hasn't been announced yet, but I do know that it's going to be on September 20th.
But it also makes him reckless. Eubank has seen that before, and he knows how to dismantle it. Adam Smith recognizes the entertainment value, but also the gravity. This isn't about headlines, it's about heritage. 2 proud families, 2 legacies, and 1 night that will echo through generations. For Eubank, it's about proving that time cannot tame greatness. For Benn, it's about forcing the world to remember his name. Tony Jeffries stripped away the politeness and said what many think but won't say. This fight could end one man's career. He's right. There's danger in every word, emotion in every exchange. For Eubank, this isn't about paydays, it's about redemption. The calm fury in his demeanor tells the story of a man who's been here before. Under brighter lights, against tougher names, he's emerged.
I do see improvement there for Conor, and I do think the results will be different the other way around in the next fight. I think it'll go the distance all over again.
Sharper every time. Eubank's fighting for respect now, for validation beyond the surname. He wants to silence every critic who ever questioned his hunger. Conor Benn, meanwhile, fights for his career. For him, this isn't just about pride, it's about survival. His reputation, his standing, and his public image are all on the line. One mistake, and it could all come crashing down. Eubank has seen fighters crumble before, seen how fast fame fades when the lights go out. That's why he fights with intelligence, not emotion. Ben fights with rage, and that's exactly what could undo him. Johnny Nelson questions whether Eubank can still improve at this stage, but improvement, for Eubank, doesn't come through flashy adjustments. It comes through refinement. His so-called stiffness isn't a flaw, it's control. He doesn't waste movement.
This fight can only harm him. Because that was a hard fight, the first one. This one will be another hard fight, whoever wins, unless there's a real freak occurrence, not a freak occurrence, unless someone gets caught with the shot really early, then it's going to be a hard night. Which you still have to make Eubank the favourite again, like I did the first time. I mean, so
conserves energy until the perfect moment to strike. Against Ben, that composure becomes a weapon. Sure, Ben has improved faster combinations, tighter defense, but that all fades once fatigue sets in. Eubank has been 12 rounds with killers, in arenas filled with pressure, and survived. The rematch won't be about who's more athletic, it'll be about who endures smarter. Nelson's doubts ignore one truth. Eubank's will is steel, Ben's is emotion, and when emotion meets experience, experience almost always wins. Barry Jones acknowledges what many analysts quietly believe: Eubank Jr. remains the favorite. Why? Because he's built differently. Hard fights don't break him, they sharpen him. Every war becomes another layer of armor. The first Ben fight tested his patience, resolve, and timing, and he passed each with command. Jones calls this fight dangerous for both men, but especially for Ben. If it turns brutal, Eubank will thrive. If it turns tactical, Eubank controls it. Ben's still trying to balance aggression and composure, but Eubank has already mastered that balance through years of trial and fire. If someone gets caught early, sure, the story could shift. But if this fight drags into deep waters, Eubank's experience, discipline, and conditioning will dictate the outcome. Barry Jones knows it too. Deep down, he can't deny what everyone sees. When the going gets brutal, Eubank gets better. This rematch isn't just another event, it's a reckoning. Chris Eubank Jr. steps into that ring-carrying experience, etched into every movement, every glance. He's not here to talk. He's here to close the book for good. For Conor Benn, it's not redemption, it's desperation. He's fighting not just an opponent, but the ghosts of the past. Eubank remains calm, composed, and ready. His proven ring IQ, his poise under fire, those are the weapons that make him a nightmare for emotional fighters. If Eubank wins, he reclaims his status as the elite technician of British boxing. If Ben shocks the world, he resurrects his legacy overnight. 2 names, 1 destiny, 1 defining night. Who are you backing? The seasoned general, Chris Eubank Jr., or the fiery challenger, Conor Benn? Drop your thoughts in the comments below.